Right, welcome back to Conversations from the Driver's Seat. We don't know how many episodes this will have, but it's episode 2. We want to talk about fashion brands and what we're trying to build with Hisu. So as we spoke in the last video, Hisu is Japanese for essential. So generally when you're talking about fashion, a lot of people working through fashion, they it's not so much an essential type of thing. Maybe it's essential for the moment, but fashion tends to change every few weeks. You know, there's new designs, there's new colors, there's different seasons. Hey, and a lot of that's great. Doesn't mean that, you know, your base core of products need to change. Doesn't mean that whatever you bought last week, last month, last year is now out of date and old. Just means that you work with it in a different way. Now, Hisu is about clothing that you wear for years, right? We want to do in a small design side of it that is a bit more minimal, nice and aesthetic, and it just sort of, it works well and it's a bit more timeless. You know, you don't really have to worry so much about, you know, the new this or the new that. On the blank side of it, the product, the design, we want to try and get nice and strong, good and durable, and, you know, just give it the ability to work through as best as possible. So then that way, over the years, the more and more that you wear it, that $30 cost or that $50 cost or that $100 cost, it reduces with each wear. Instead of you wearing it 10 times and it costing you $10 every time you wore it, you know, maybe you've worn it 100 times, it's cost you $1 every time you've worn it. But it's not also specifically about cost and price. That's a big one. But also the other side of it is that the more that you can wear something, the less you're gonna buy, or you're gonna buy less of everything else. So it's going to reduce the amount that's needed, and then we're not going to put the stress on the you know, the clothing industry, the textile industry, and then also we're going to reduce the amount of waste. So we've gone with for the design and try and convey the not so much like how to start a business, but what you should be thinking about. So as an entrepreneur, as someone that's, you know, started, failed, finished, opened, closed, developed business ideas left and right and so on and so forth, and, you know, some of them have been good, some of them have been shit. I've decided to go with Japanese proverb philosophy to start building out something to try and hold me accountable. Proverbs and motivational quotes and things are pretty strong to me. I've grown up around them with a single mother, and they're definitely something that I use to consistently push myself in life. So we've got our set of 6 that we're using for volume 0, the Origin series. So our first one is a journey of 1,000 miles, begins with a single step, and now these are old school Japanese proverbs. You can find them everywhere. You know, it doesn't matter where you are or where you want to go. Even if you just want to go across the road, still got to take that first step. So every journey, no matter where you want to go, no matter how far or how close you are, you got to take that step. So start where you are, take the step in front of you, and the distance begins there. It's not going to finish there. That one step, you're not finished. You've still got to keep going. Our second one is about, accumulation. Even dust, when piled up, becomes a mountain. So small efforts stacked together, quiet work compounds, and what looks insignificant today becomes weight over time. So if you look back at your life a year ago, 2 years ago, 10 years ago, you might have been in school, you might have been in a relationship, you might have had young children, you might have been at the start of a career, sporting life, whatever it might be. You look back and you realize how far you've come from there. Our big ones like gym and gym discipline, and a lot of people want to get fit and get funky in 12 weeks. Well, 12 weeks is great for a quick little kicker, but that's not going to give you the discipline, and you're not going to get the Mr. Olympia or Miss Olympia results that you want, or that, that major fitness one that you want. So sometimes you got to push a lot more, and little bits and pieces, that's how it goes. So even dust, when piled, becomes a mountain. Another strong one is sit on a stone for 3 years, meaning you sit on a stone, it starts out cold. Your body warmth will transfer bit by bit, slowly, over the days, weeks, months, years, right? After 3 years, the stone is warm. Now that might be a crude, interpretation or translation. It's up to everyone. Everyone translates something a little bit differently, but it's endure the cold start, because at the start, it's going to be hard. The discipline is hard. You get no likes, no one's doing this, no one talks about you, no one helps you. You have to source everything. It's always hard to get started. If you stay with the work and you get in and you do it, a week, a month, 6 months, a year, 2 years, 10 years, it becomes easier and easier, and then you understand and you learn. So you stay with the work. Time changes what the effort touches. So if you don't put in any effort, nothing's going to change. Yeah? A big one for me is fall 7 times, rise 8, right? Just because you've failed to do something, or, something hasn't quite gone your way, doesn't mean that that's the end. Fall 7, rise 8, could be fall 8, rise 9, fall 19, rise 20. It doesn't matter, you keep on going, because you learn something each time. You fall, learn, rise again. Fall, learn, rise again. Sometimes you just don't fall as far, and then you learn, and then you rise again. The strength is built in the return. The strength is built from the consistency of making mistakes, learning from mistakes, trying something new, doing something different, getting back into the grind and keeping on moving. The next one is never forget your beginner's spirit. You never forget your beginner's spirit, because you don't want to forget the reason why you started something. A lot of people will start something, get a bit of money, they change. They lose that distance, they lose that idea and what they were doing, and they change. That's okay for them. But for you, never lose your beginner's spirit, because the reason you started the thing is still always going to be there. Just don't forget that. Remember why you started it, remember what matters, and don't let the noise replace the purpose. And last one, which is why I'm doing it this way. Between 1 and 6, number 1 was every journey begins with one step, or every journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. This is the other one, is if you act, it can be done. If you don't act, it won't be done. So sometimes you just have to start. The first time you do something, whether it's the 10th or the 100th business that you're doing, or the design, or the whatever, or the this or that, it's still not going to be perfect to where you want it to be, but nothing should be, because everything can use a little bit of development. All right, so don't think that everything needs to be perfect to start, because if you think it's perfect to start, you will never start. Just effing start. If you act, it can be done. Actions create momentum. The path opens through effort. What is done moves things forward. Just do it. I don't mean to quote Nike there, but it is what it is. Just get in and do it. Shut up. Right? The biggest thing you can do is just shut up. Shut that internal voice up. Pick something, do it. Hate yourself for it. You know, you might post it, no one likes it, great, move on. Don't internalize what you're thinking about, what you think other people are thinking about. Here I am doing friggin' videos, and I friggin' hate videos. Just get in and do it, and let's move on, get this done, and move on to the next thing, and really try and get it out there. Also, it looks authentic as well. You know, that's the main thing. That's the main reason why we've picked some Japanese proverbs. We're going to move through that way. So, you know, yeah. All right, I'll leave you with this. What's one piece of clothing you've owned for years that you still love? Is it a t-shirt, a jumper, a vest, a belt? You know, could be anything, a singlet. Or is it maybe a fabric? You know, you've got a certain fabric in your t-shirts that you always have to get this t-shirt because it feels a certain way, it fits your body right. You know, I really like the recycled polyester training singlets that we get from Footy. I really like those. All right, conversations from the driver's seat for Hisu. Number 2, you know, we're not trying to build a fashion brand, we're trying to build a community. Get out there, get it done, shoot me a message, I'll talk to you soon. John out.